Hi, welcome to Glow's Kinder Kitchen, and I'm Glow. Today has been like a baking extravaganza in our kitchen, and now I'm ready to make our brownies. Earlier I made fruit cake, and I also did some pound cakes for gifts, and I ran across this recipe on the container of the candied cherries that I had purchased. And it's an excellent brand, and I have not made these brownies before, but they sound delicious. And so I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. I have no reservations about trying it, and we'll see how it is. So let's get started. I'm going to turn the camera down so that you guys can see into the bowl as we're working on this. In this bowl, I have 1 cup of flour and 1 cup of sugar. And I also wanted to show you the recipe before we get started. It's on the top of the container of the cherries, and it's by Paradise Holiday Fruit. And they make excellent candied fruits. So anyway, there's 1 cup of all-purpose flour in here and 1 cup of granulated sugar. And then to this, we're going to be adding a few other ingredients that I have sitting right here. It calls for 1/4 teaspoon of salt, which I already went ahead and measured out. It calls for 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder. And then it calls for 1/2 cup of cocoa powder, which I have right here. And then it calls for 1 stick of melted butter along with 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. So what I did is I put a stick of butter in here along with the chocolate chips, and I melted it, and I put it on power level 7 on my microwave and did it for 30 seconds. And then I stirred it, and I did it again for 30 seconds, and you can see how nice it turned out. And you just stir it till it becomes smooth. And I left this cool because I'm going to be adding eggs to this, and I didn't want to put something hot in there with those eggs because we don't want to end up with scrambled eggs. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. There we go. And then it calls for 2 beaten eggs. And I went ahead and I cracked them open and beat them up in this. I'll go ahead and pour that in. And then what you do is you just, oh, and also I almost forgot, it calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla. And I use the real vanilla. Makes a big difference in the flavor. So, and then you just stir this to combine it. And I'm using my Danish or Dutch whisk that they call. I had gotten this a couple months back, and I'll tell you, I love it. It just really works well for stirring stuff up like this to combine it. To look at this, you wouldn't think that would be like that, but I'm telling you, it's awesome. Very easy to clean and just comes together really quickly, as you can tell. People use it to stir and mix up breads also. But you can tell how easy that is to combine. So now all we're going to do is we're going to see how that comes off of there so easily. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put this in a 9x13 baking pan. But I went ahead and I sprayed with cooking spray. And I'm going to move this stuff over so you guys can see what I'm doing. Here's my pan. And I'm just going to put this right into it. I just found there was a little bit of flour on the side that I missed. I want to combine that, so. There we go. And the directions say to just press this down into the 9 by 13 pan. And before we started, I went ahead and I turned on my oven, which actually was on already with all the cooking I've been doing, but I put the temperature at 350 degrees. So that'll be preheated by the time we're done here. So I'm sure you guys are all busy getting stuff ready for the Christmas too. Here today our weather is cold. We're in North Carolina in the mountains, but and a little windy actually, and but no snow. They say we might get some on Christmas Eve going into Christmas morning, but I think it won't stick at all because it's been too warm. But anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and pat this out into this pan. As you can tell, this doesn't take long at all to do. There we go. And now what it says for us to do is we have some toppings to put on here. And it says to take, the container is 8 ounces. And it says to cut the cherries in half, which I already went ahead and had done. There's 8 ounces of them. And I'm just going to cover this now with these cherries. Looks pretty, doesn't it? This recipe kind of reminded me of a recipe my dad always used to make during Christmas time, and it was fudge. And it had cherries and walnuts in it. And it was maraschino cherries. These are candy cherries, but something very similar. And I'll tell you, that fudge was the best fudge. I'm going to have to dig up that recipe. I'm sure I have it. And make that. Maybe I'll do that. Probably not this year, but next year for you guys. So you can see that as well. So the next thing that it says to do is to take 1 cup of semi-sweet chocolate chips, which I went ahead and measured out, and you sprinkle those over the top. This would make a great gift to give someone. Oh yeah, look how pretty that is. Okay, and the final thing is 3/4 of a cup of the sweetened condensed milk. And I'm going to go ahead and drizzle that on. And I went ahead and measured this out before we started this video. This is going to be yummy. Look how pretty that is. Almost ready to put it in the oven. I have a little spatula here. I'm just going to finish helping get this stuff out. And the hardest part for this is after this comes out of the oven, it says it's supposed to set overnight before you cut into it. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. I mean, this is already sounding just so yummy. But we'll see. We're almost done putting this on. Oh yeah. This is going to be delicious. Okay. So this is to bake in a 350-degree oven for 28 to 30 minutes, it says, or until the edges are golden brown, and you're supposed to allow it to set, like I said, overnight. But anyway, when I take this out of the oven, I will be sure to show it to you. But it sure looks pretty already. So I'll see you back in a bit, in probably about a half an hour. Bye. Hi, well, welcome back. Our brownies are all done, and they look delicious and they smell divine. Can hardly wait to try them. Anyway, the sweetened condensed milk that we use, you can see where it was starting to bubble there and there. And you're supposed to take it out when it starts to brown around the edges, and that ours is starting to brown around the edges. It took, according to my oven, 28 minutes. So anyway, I'm so glad you came, and I will show you a piece of this after we cut it. But like I said, we have to wait a while so it sets up. So I'll see you back in a while. Hi, well, guess what? I had enough patience that I waited till the next day to try this brownie, just like the directions said. And Richard was the one that actually suggested that we wait. And I said, yeah, let's do. We'll do it just the way they said. So here we are, and it's the evening of the next day, and we just cut this brownie. And we're going to try it. We haven't even tried it yet, but it sure looks good.
Looks good enough to eat, Miss Flo.
So I'm going to take a piece that has part of the cherry so we can see what that all tastes like.
Very cherry.
You guys, this is a winner. I'm telling you, this is going to be part of my Christmas gifts this year. It is delicious. The cherries, you can really taste them. The condensed, sweetened condensed milk. The chocolate, oh, excellent. So anyway, I'm so glad you joined us, and we're going to really look forward to eating this tonight. I wish you were here to have a dish with us. Bye.